So hello everyone, I welcome you all to EduTap. Myself Jalaj Nagpal, and today with continuing with our series with topper for SEBI Grade A, today I have with me Mr. Abhishek Ashish. So first of all, from entire team of EduTap and from all the faculties, we congratulate Mr. Abhishek Ashish for his marvelous achievement of cracking SEBI Grade A exam. So congratulations, Mr. Ashish.
Thank you.
So first and the foremost question, Mr. Abhishek, or I would say Abhishek rather, how is the feeling towards clearing SEBI? Because this time the competition was very fierce. So how is the overall josh around you and how are the vibes?
Right, means it took some time to sink in, but yeah, quite a good feeling.
So when you were checking that holy list, I would say of the roll numbers, were your heartbeat on the another level or you were normal?
Yeah, it was on another level. I had to get it checked from another person as well.
You couldn't believe yourself.
Yeah, I wanted to be sure before
Okay,
sharing the
okay,
news
okay.
with.
So before moving ahead, first let's share. Can you please share your journey? Like how did SEBI happen, and what was the overall run up to SEBI? How many attempts you took, and overall journal introduction about yourself.
Right, so I did my bachelor's and master's integrated from IIT Kharagpur in civil engineering. After that, I worked in Larsen and Toubro for 2.5 years around.
Okay.
In firstly at site, then at planning HQ. After that, I wanted to prepare for government examinations, so I quit the job and prepared for UPSC for around 2.5 years.
Okay.
I had given myself 3 years, 3 attempts, and as I could not clear in 3 attempts, I decided to move on. And during that preparation, I felt that economics was a good blend between the arts and science that I have studied.
Hmm.
So I decided to give these regulatory body examinations of RBI and SEBI. So my
Okay.
first attempt of SEBI was in 2021, and this was my second attempt.
Okay. So you are having a diverse background from UPSC, RBI, and then moving to SEBI, right?
Right.
So did these experiences help you in SEBI preparation, and then we will move to the core interview? Just a small.
Definitely.
So how does your channelizing different experiences in the SEBI? How did it really? How did you really use your experience? Can you
So
please?
kind of my work experience at L&T
Yeah.
gave me like I was there working there as an assistant manager.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So intuitively, I had developed some managerial skills, and that's why management became easier for me.
Okay. Okay.
Although the names and theories were difficult, means
Uh,
it's something which have you have to rote learn, but otherwise,
application side became
yeah,
easy.
application side became easier.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And during the preparation of UPSC, answer writing practice have been the descriptive English part. Means the questions are not really in English; they are basically short answers of UPSC only.
Well
So
said.
that also helped. And
Yeah.
as I'm currently working as a data analyst, so I have to continuously work on the computer. So typing was also not an issue.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So
So
all this kind
you,
of helped overall.
yeah. So such experiences and you channelize the same into SEBI and the result we are seeing today is really good.
Right.
So now let's move to the core interview preparation. First, let's talk about the phase one component. The
Sure.
first and the foremost component is regarding paper one, which is having four sub components, which we have QRE and CA. So
Right.
first, let's discuss about QRE. How was your approach towards QRE and how many mock tests and how did you really prepare for QRE?
So as I am from this engineering background, theory was not much of an issue. I'm also well versed in English, and that was also not an issue. I had given previous attempts, and I could easily sail through in all
Okay.
these subjects. So it was not much of an issue for me.
So QRE was not a big headache for you, I would say.
Right.
Okay, so that's really very good to see how engineering students are making it very easy. Now, then coming to the GA part. GA is an headache because you have to wrote learning a lot on
Yeah.
it, a lot in it. Then how did you prepare for GA? Because GA is also a very important component when you have to clear that sectional cutoff of 30 marks.
Right, but it is combined with the QRE, right?
QRE,
So
yes.
GA weightage is not that much in this examination. In RBI, sure, it is of 80
Yeah.
marks and it carries a lot of weight.
Okay.
But here it was not much of an headache. But I still prepared for 3 months, and I could get around. I don't know. I got in phase one. I got around 150 marks, 145,
Okay.
150 marks.
Okay, okay, okay. So that really is really very good to see that your first paper was automatically cleared.
Right,
Actually, it was just a formality from the SEBI,
right.
right? Okay, but just digging a deep on it, did you make any physical notes related to GA or some other component?
Not really. Means I just took the printout of monthly modules and highlighted their whatever I felt was more
Okay.
important.
And did you attempted any mocks of QRE, or was it like basics bread and butter for you?
Right. It was. I didn't attempt any mocks for paper one. All
Okay,
mocks
so
were for paper
so
two
we can
only.
easily conclude that QRE and paper one was again a formality, right?
Right.
Now,
Basically, given that 30% cutoff marks, it's really a
yeah,
formality only for engineering students.
yeah. So that's how engineering students are on par with the commerce students. Commerce students have an upper hand when it comes to commerce and accounts,
Right.
but engineering students have a a level base when
Only
it
till
comes to
phase
the
one.
Q.
Only till phase one.
Yeah, true. So now let's come to the paper two.
Right.
Paper two is very diverse. It tests your knowledge on different components, different six components. So first, let's take paper two of phase one, subject wise. What was
Right.
your strategy regarding finance? A very plain and basic question.
So as I said, I started preparing for these RBI and SEBI examinations
Yeah.
since 2020. So I had prepared notes for finance since October of 2020 only, and basically I revised these notes only from there onwards.
Okay. So when it comes to, I have seen that you have purchased our RBI and SEBI combo course.
Right,
So you must have studied finance for RBI Grade B as well.
right,
And you must have studied finance for
right.
SEBI Grade as well. So what is the basic difference between these two components?
Apart from means besides some chapters that are additional in RBI, I don't see much of a difference in both of these examinations related to finance. Management there is significant difference since last year, but
Yeah.
finance, yeah,
So we can conclude that RBI is a big subset and SEBI is a subset in it, or
right.
you wanted to
Superset.
change?
RBI is a superset and
Okay,
SEBI
yeah,
is a subset.
subset, yeah.
Yeah,
So RBI is a bigger circle and it includes a SEBI in
right.
it. So if you are preparing side by side for RBI, then your SEBI part is covered up, although some basic chapters like ratios can be done, or what you will suggest.
Means ratios is also there in RBI, no?
Yeah, but when it comes to the RBI grade B, I would still say numerical side is very much underestimated, whereas in SEBI it is very much overestimated.
Right. Means
Yeah,
I don't expect numericals in RBI examination
yeah,
as only 25 questions or 30 questions are there in
yeah,
the
yeah. 30
stage two.
questions are there.
Yeah.
Okay, so your overall preparation for SEBI Grade A finance component was encompassed by the RBI comparison.
Right.
Okay. So now let's come to the management, because finance and management goes hand by hand. So you have already told me that your application side of management was taken off. So
Right.
how did the rote learning, or how did different notes helped you, or how did you started your management preparation for SEBI?
So basically, when I started preparation, it was kind of long notes. But after my first attempt and I failed, I prepared some short notes, which was of around 15 pages.
So you prepared them from your long notes only, or you just
Yeah,
went
from
it
long
again?
notes again.
Okay, so first you filtered out and then you again filtered out.
Right, and that part I revised again and again around 3-4 times, which kind of helped with the rote learning part because that's what you do in rote learning. You just have to revise
Yeah.
again and again.
Yeah, that's very true. And one more question why like this, like if we compare again, goes back to the same theme. What is the difference between finance management, or I would say management part of RBI and SEBI?
Some additional chapters have been added last year, like
Yeah.
ethics and corporate governance and all. But they are not
Hmm.
there in SEBI. And the questions in SEBI last year also and this year also were more of application based rather than rote learning
Yeah,
based questions.
completely agree.
Right,
Okay, so again, the same part of finance applies to management as well.
right.
Okay, and I have also seen that you have also purchased our 500 MCQ course, 5,000 rather MCQ
Yeah,
course for SEBI.
yeah.
So did you practice finance and management from that course?
Yeah, I did most of the questions from that course as well as the existing course means the main.
Okay, so basically you applied the reverse engineering concept. You solved as many questions as possible,
Right.
and that would have helped you in revision part.
Yeah, wherever I did some mistake, I would revise that particular aspect of that chapter more seriously as compared to the like run through while revision.
Okay, super. Good strategy to start with. And then let's move to the company's law. I
Right.
hope companies law was a total alien subject because there is no mention of companies law in the RBI syllabus.
Right.
So what was your overall approach towards company law?
Again, same making the notes.
Now, when you are saying notes again and again, was it physical or it was digital?
It was physical as well as digital. Means
So can you give me an example, like how did you implemented this, I would say old age and the new age technology? Like making notes is a considered as an old age technology, but how people are making digital notes is a new age
right.
technology. So
So
how did you combine this?
basically, I would start with the physical notes. And after making that like rough notes, I will prepare more revised and concise notes in digital version.
Okay.
So whenever I am revising from digital version, if I feel like this point is not very clear to me, then I would go revisit the old physical notes.
Okay. So it's like double filtering again,
Right.
right? Okay. And in companies law, like there are different penalties. It's
Right.
humongous. Like
Right.
it's different orders and rules and regulations.
Right.
So did your notes become an infinity level for you, or was it concise to the point?
No, I had prepared like around 2.5 pages. That was enough to revise these penalties and
Okay.
punishments, whatever acts are there, which include penalties. You
Okay.
could write them all in around 2 pages, and you just
Okay.
have to
So
revise it again and again.
okay. Then this is after double filtering, right?
Right.
Okay. So first note would have been like 5 pages, and then you filtered it out to 2.5.
Right, and means that
Okay.
includes all the formats as well, like pass one, pass two, pass three. These formats
Yeah.
are there. So I just written what which section, what means after how long they have to be submitted and all. And it
Okay.
was all written under 2.5 pages.
Okay. So we will dig more in the company's law when it comes to the phase two, because phase two may you have different components again.
Right.
So we will dig it over here. Now let me know how an engineering student tackles commerce and accounts, because this is the most, I would say, again an alien subject to you.
Right.
So how did commerce and account became easy, or I would say you were able to achieve your targets under commerce and accounts?
So the EduTap course played a big role in that. Anchit sir had explained the accounting concept very
Yeah.
clearly. And even if you are from an engineering background, the level at which he starts is very simple to understand, and it gradually grows up, and you are able to grasp it with the
Okay.
speed of the lecture. So it was not much of an issue
Hmm.
if you see the video lectures.
Okay. So did you started our EduTap course from scratch, or was it like hitting a bird at random video or something like
No,
that?
no, it was from scratch as per the sequence in the course.
Okay. So was it fruitful for you? Because
Very fruitful
sometimes,
means I would not have. I kind of need mixed sources to learn. Means I need
yeah.
written as well as audio visual medium to understand things,
And
and
then you
the
also
video
have,
lectures. Yeah.
and then you also have the quiz part via which you can
Right.
implement and test your knowledge as well.
Right.
So was it comprehensive as well? Because I get many queries like EduTap has given a full of ocean type of thing. We
Right.
are not able to sunk it. So was it comprehensive at your end, specifically for commerce and account?
Right. I did view all the lectures and
Okay. So that
made
is really
notes from
very.
all the PowerPoints as well.
So this shows that how if you are following EduTap course, then you will be a master's in commerce and account someday and sometime.
I would not call myself a master, but yeah, it is sufficient to clear the
Clear it.
examination.
Yeah. If you are clearing an examination, that supposedly makes you, or it will
Yeah,
definitely
but
make
it
you.
kind of demeans a whole graduation subject. If
Yeah.
you,
It makes you quasi, I would say. Quasi.
yeah,
Yeah.
if
Okay.
you
Chalo.
call, if I call myself a master at commerce, then I'm
Yeah.
kind of
No.
demeaning the people who have spent
Yeah.
5 years
That's
studying
really
at
no.
mathematics.
That is really very good to see. I take back my words. It's like quasi masters.
Yeah,
Now let's come to costing.
right.
What was an overall approach towards costing, and how did you begin your preparation in costing?
So costing involves a lot of numericals.
Hmm.
As compared to accounts, there are more numericals in the costing.
Costing. Yeah.
So after viewing the lecture, whenever there was a numerical, I
Hmm.
used to pause the video lecture. I used to solve that numerical by myself. If I was not able to solve that numerical, then only I will proceed with the video lecture, clear my
Okay.
doubts. Then again, during my second revision, I would just open the PPT, solve it again on my own
Okay.
without seeing the video lecture.
And
So
if you may give me some, like, how much time did you like invested in one video, or something like a standard time? Because this process which you are telling me right now is like looking like a very big process.
no,
So I
I
just
used to
wanted to
watch
remove.
videos at 2x speed.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not much.
Yeah.
Did not
Not
take much of a time, but yeah, solving numericals was the major problem. Like I used to give myself like 2 hours for
okay.
4 hour lectures, but
Okay.
I ended up using 4 hours because while solving the numericals by myself, it took a lot of time.
Hanji. So again, a very good point you to note that you have solved each and every PPT and solved each and every question. So that's again a very good thing. Now let's come to the last component, which is economics. Seeing that
Right,
you have some background in the UPSC side, so
right.
was economics easy for you like QRE, or was it a tough nut?
No, means the economics that you study in UPSC is significantly different from what you have to study for SEBI.
Okay.
Means it is more on the theoretical side in SEBI, and in UPSC it is more on the practical side. You just have to
Okay.
understand the economics on broader scale for the nation. It's
Okay.
not the nitty gritty of the classical economic theories
Mhm.
and like the supply and demand of money and all. That's not covered in UPSC, but here you have to study those.
Okay. 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 So basically, what I can understand is that you have differentiated the need of two different exams.
Right,
First is the UPSC part is totally different, as you have told me right now, and then the SEBI part is also different.
right.
So a person who is having a UPSC background is not that much comfortable with the economics part.
Means it kind of gives the background, but it's not
Uh,
the same thing that you have to
okay, so
study.
you
So,
have to start again from the scratch, or I would
right,
say from a beginner level only.
right.
So overall, if I ask you, like if someone is preparing for phase one all alone, and if only some time is left, what will be your overall strategy? Like, how did he or she shall proceed?
Honestly speaking, since phase one is again a kind of qualifying in nature,
Yeah.
I had skipped economics entirely during my phase one preparation.
Okay.
As I had prepared economics last year, so I was
Okay.
like winging it on that only. Like I have prepared, I will answer the basic questions. Out of supposedly 8 to 9 questions that will come from economics, I can
Hmm.
answer 3 or 4 questions from my like long-term memory, and 4 questions I will skip. That was my plan.
Okay, 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 okay. So that's really very good to see that you only have to clear phase one by
Right,
just a small margin. Even if you clear it by a small margin, then you are in the phase two component.
right,
So that's how you have to use smart study with your, I would say, tough studies or hard studies.
right. Means
So
I
that's
had left the economics part for the phase two preparation only, as I
okay.
was working also, so I had to distribute the time between
So
the
what was
study
your
and work.
forte subjects in the phase one? Like for except QRE, the paper one you have already cleared, I think so.
Right.
In phase two, in phase one, paper two, what were your major subjects that helped you to clear the cutoff? Except economics, because you have already told that you have not studied economics.
Yeah. So
So
means paper was kind of based on understanding only. So
yeah,
I got around 75 marks in paper two also, and that
okay,
was based on your long-term memory only.
okay,
And costing part I had revised and practiced the numericals. So costing and kind of accounts also. Means these two subjects I had prepared thoroughly for phase one.
okay. And when you are saying the revision thing, you are doing revision from your original source or from the second source which you have just filtered out?
From both of them.
Okay,
Means
okay, okay. So it was like a overall comprehensive and holistic coverage.
right, since I had like not seen these notes in past 6 months, I had to again start with the holistic note, then
Okay,
again back
okay.
to the short note.
Notes, notes. Okay, okay. So it's like again going back and coming to the main, I would say, main form of yourself with more power. So
Right,
that's really very good to see. Now let's move our attention towards the phase two, because I can see that your phase one was almost very certain because you have different experiences as well and you channelize them and you were to
right,
the point. Now let's come to the phase two. Phase two, may we have paper one, which is completely descriptive in nature. And seeing that you are from UPSC background, but I assume that UPSC expects you to become like Shakespeare type of writer. But here you have to write to the point and it's like 200 words. So in the essay component, so what was your overall strategy regarding the descriptive component of SEBI Grade A?
so kind of here the answers are not essays of UPSC, but simply the answers
Yeah,
of the GS papers.
yeah, you quoted that also, yes.
Yeah, means
Hmm.
it's not an essay, it's basically GS answer that you have to give around 200 words, intro, body, conclusion, that you have to practice for UPSC GS answers also.
Yeah, surely. But again, I would like to say that how do you have to compromise it? Like in UPSC, there are diverse topics which comes into the picture.
Right.
In SEBI, you have either financial information technology, something which is related to SEBI. So did
Yeah.
you practice some
No,
model
I did
essays?
make short notes of data points that you can quote in the answers,
Okay.
and I revised them just before the paper on the site as well. Means
And
before
what was the source of these data points? Like did
newspapers and current affairs magazines. That whatever I
uh,
studied.
and major newspaper being the business newspaper or the national
Both of
newspaper?
them. One was Indian Express and the Economic Times.
Okay, okay. And this was daily read by like you, or it was like a
No,
other
by
com
myself.
okay, okay, okay. So you are making sure that you are reading the hard copies.
Right.
Okay,
Means
and make
I would not say that I was a regular, but yeah, out of a week I would do study 4 to 5 days.
So that's really very frank to you, because many people say that they read newspaper
Means
every
it
day and
kind of
then
gets boring at times because you are reading the same thing progressing slowly over time. So yeah, it does get boring, but you have to just put time in it.
yeah. So really very good to see that. Now, when you are saying that you have prepared some model, I would say notes or model points, did you practice some essays? Because in the previous interview, I heard some topper, they are practicing like 25 to 30 essays before going into the final competition. So was this strategy followed by you?
Means I did not practice that much, but yeah, I did practice around half a dozen or 10 essays before,
Okay,
like in the last week coming to the examination. I did practice
okay.
these essays.
And is it the same for Prezi and RC?
I did not practice per se for RC, but yeah, for Presi I had to practice because
Hmm.
Presi requires some kind of technical
Yeah.
application in English also. So
Okay.
I used to like just select an article from the Indian Express and used to write a concise part of a form of that only.
Okay. Okay.
So that
Nice.
was my
Nice.
Presi practice.
Okay. And so overall English was again, I would say, doable for you, or it was like you have to give your most of your hours in it?
Means I don't know. Means giving hours. I don't know whether for me it was much of. It
I
was
just
much.
wanted to
Yeah,
know that.
means the issue is that marking in English is like kind of weird. I gave SEBI mains last year and RBI mains last year. I got
Okay.
55 in SEBI and 66 in RBI.
Okay.
I did
Okay.
not practice for either of them, and so this kind of swing marking, I was like, I have to practice, but it's not something that I have under my control.
Okay. Okay. So you believe that there is some luck component which plays an important role into the descriptive component.
Right.
Okay.
Just
So
one thing that I would like to mention regarding descriptive English, that if you are able to save around 10 minutes of that 1 hour to revise the answers that you have written,
hmm.
that can play a crucial role in getting higher marks because you can catch the grammatical mistakes that you have made, or sometimes you miss an article or conjunctions, so you can add them in the revision part.
Okay, okay, nice. So this is a very unique point which I have got across all the interviews which I have taken so far, that you have to save some time for spoof reading, I would say.
Right,
Okay, and for doing that, you need to have a great typing speed rather.
right.
So do you have that, or was it
Yeah, means
something?
I
Okay, so you
used
have
to
a good
work on
type.
computer only, so it's
Okay,
not an
okay.
issue.
And you maintain your digital notes as well, and when you are
Yeah,
typing somewhere, so automatically your speeds increases.
right.
So
As I have
nice.
done masters also, so I had to write a pretty long thesis for that. So
So again, you are using your experience and channelizing the same into Sebi.
right,
Okay, so the overall picture is regarding your experience only. I can see that you have used your experience in RBI, working domains, and then UPSCL also, and then you have channelized it. Again, pretty much good. Now let's come to the again 6 components, because preparation for all these 6 components varies accordingly when it comes to the phase 1 and phase 2.
right.
I hope you agree on that. Now,
Yes.
when it comes to the finance and management, let's combine them. How
Mm-hmm.
was your overall strategy? Because this time paper 2, according to me, was totally weird as compared to the previous year papers.
Right,
So even PYQs on which we build our knowledge was sometimes deceptive in nature.
right.
So how did you prepare for, let's take finance and management together and in the
Mhm.
span of 25 days?
So as I said that I had prepared the short notes for management
Yeah.
to cover that rote learning part.
Yeah.
So I revised that only, and fortunately the paper came of the application based nature. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like you just have to answer intuitively. If you are a good manager, you will be able to answer them rightly.
Hmm. So this is the point which I would like to make in this particular video or interview, that even in the previous interview which I have taken, that same topper has also said that the rote learning part really was like totally thrown out of the box, and you have to
Right,
apply your incentives over there.
right,
For example, there was a role of manager which was given, and
right,
in the standard books we have 10 roles of manager which was given by Henry Misberg.
right,
But in the real exam there was totally different question.
right,
So you have to apply your knowledge and you have to get your best version on that particular
right.
day, right? So
Means I
now,
don't know the answer key, but I hope that
yeah,
the wavelengths
yeah.
match the examination setter and whatever
Yeah.
you are going to answer.
So you have to take that particular decision on that particular day only.
Right,
Okay, nice. Now let's come to the finance component. This is management.
right. So
Of
finance, as I said, that RBI is kind of a superset. So if you
yeah,
are able to cover the finance part of RBI, then SEBI is kind of a cakewalk for you because it is a
Yeah.
subset. Only
So
the numericals part can be like
mhm,
challenging, but that also, like, they are simple division, and even if you forget the formula and
mhm.
you see the options and you see the numbers given in the question, you can easily check which arithmetic like you have to apply, and
Again,
you will get the answer.
that is your experience speaking with you.
Right, maybe.
So first, let me ask you that when you are preparing from that 5,000 MCQ course,
Yeah,
so was it bulky for you or was it like interesting to solve as many questions as possible?
some of them were like repeating questions
Yeah.
from the main course, but otherwise it was quite fun.
Okay, okay. So very nice to hear that. And we will work on some feedback. So now let's move to the company's law. Again,
Right. Yeah,
it's very bulky, but according to your notes, it's very much small and concise. But again, a new beginner who is starting or the person who has just cleared his phase one, company's law is a big headache. But in the
right.
paper two this time, company's law was the most scoring paper, I think.
Yeah,
Direct questions, you just have to tick your answer in less than 30 seconds.
exactly.
So what was your overall take in the company's law and how
But
did you approach your paper?
yeah, means this time it was direct. This time the questions were direct in nature, but
Yeah.
maybe next time it won't be direct in
Yeah.
nature.
So
So
what will be your
relying solely
strategy?
on PYQ would not be like advisable.
So
But
let me interrupt that. PYQ can be deceptive sometimes. I always believe that. So
yeah,
what is the basic source which a student should start their preparation? Like PYQ is the one of the major source. I truly
right.
agree with that. But what is the first basic, I would say, step a stone for which a beginner can step on so
So
that he can prepare his preparation? Yes, please.
as I was from engineering background, I had to like get started somewhere, and EduTap was kind of a good start. Gave me a good start.
Hmm.
I viewed all the lectures given by Rajat sir, and
Okay.
based on the PPTs that was there, I made
Hmm.
means the kind of the language of the company's law is also complicated for an engineering student. So
True.
the
Very true.
PPTs made them easier to understand and comprehend. And then you can see the company law if you want to, means in the original form to get the grasp of like what the intent
Oh,
of that particular law is.
okay.
Means
Okay. Okay.
the
So
intent
first,
can be lost in the PPT, but if you see
Anji,
that
Anji.
actual code also, then you will get the intent also.
Okay, okay, okay. But seeing that intent code can give some horror, horror type of things to the student who is just starting its journey,
Right,
because that is completely, totally on a legal side, and it's full of legal definitions,
right.
and even finding that particular comma and full stops can have certain meanings.
Again, there was one thing that helped me because I was working in tendering department of L&T.
Okay, okay, okay,
I had to study a lot of contracts for
okay,
different
okay.
projects. So I was kind of familiar with reading the legal documents also.
So if I'm not wrong, you have worked for 2.5 years in L&T,
Right.
and that have helped you very much, like in management as well, and in this particular
Yeah.
component as well. So that is how you have to value your work and you have to
Yeah.
learn from it. So now let's come to costing.
Yeah.
First, let me know which is a favorite or which is the most hated chapter of your in costing. It can be marginal or it can be batch costing as well.
Means,
If is it any or you let can be
no, means solving numericals is fun for me
yeah, you
as I
are
am
an
from
engineer.
engineering background. So yeah, it was. I did not hate any particular chapter. That
Hmm.
one I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, that part when there is one RSQ and all that
Okay,
is
okay,
involved.
okay.
Yes.
Chalo, no issues. We can
Uh,
just get back to this question. But first, let me know your strategy for costing specifically for phase two, because this time costing and commerce and account have given some bad dreams to
right.
many students. So how did you deal with the costing part?
So basically, as I said, that I used to solve all the questions given in the PPT on my own.
Yeah.
Other than that, that 5,000 MCQ course also helped me.
Hmm.
Other than that, I also used to find whatever free mock tests I could find online and give
Okay.
them. So that also kind of helped to like get diverse perspectives on how the questions can be set.
Okay. Okay. So you are using different resources to test your knowledge, as simple as that.
Right.
Okay. So did you attempted any mock test of EduTap like All
Yeah, I
India?
did give the All India mock test as well.
Okay. So do you remember any rank of yours like in a bracket so that we can comprehend the competition?
I was always in like top 1 percentile. So
Okay. So that's really very good to see that you are being toppers in the mocks, and that is the same getting reflected over here.
Right. Means I don't actually believe in the marks that you get in the.
Yeah, true. But it gives you certain confidence.
Yeah, the percentile matters. The
Yeah,
marks don't
percentile.
matter, but the percentile matter because you are checking yourself against your competitors.
Sure. That's really very good to see. And did mock test helped you in descriptive component as well? Did you attempted any mock test over
No,
there?
I did not attempt any discipline.
Okay, so majorly you focused on the variety of questions on the phase two component paper two.
Right.
Okay, now let's move to the commerce and accounts. Commerce and account was a big headache, even for those people who are having commerce mastery.
Right.
So how did you prepare for your overall commerce and accounts? Did you attempted all those big questions over there? And what was your
Yeah,
overall
means
approach?
I remember making rough practice of all the journal entries, even though it was not part of the syllabus.
Okay, so you
But
started with journal.
yeah, means to understand the basics of that accounting. Otherwise, when you jump to the for the chapters, you won't get the
Yeah, true.
concept of. It should be intuitive actually. Whatever
Yeah,
some journal entries that you have to make in the future for the chapters, it should be intuitive. You should not have to learn all the if bonus issue is being made,
and
where the money has to go and where the money is coming from. That should be intuitive for you after you
yeah.
study the journal entries
Journal
from the
component.
basics.
So this was specifically for phase two or phase one as well?
Means this was from my beginning in 2021 only.
Okay,
So I
because
did continue this practice for phase one as well as phase two. Means if
yes,
as I had left economics for the phase two part only, so I tried
used to
to
invest.
clear all this costing and accounting part in the phase one part only.
Okay, because when you said journal, I was completely shocked because journal is the basic scratch point was because if everyone starts with, and
Right,
journal is a component of plus one, like 11th
right,
class students,
right,
and journal is always said as an AK-47. It's like all weather gun which will work in accounts.
right,
If you are having journal, then you can, even if journal is done, then your ledger is always done, and then you move
right,
on to trial balance, and then you
right,
move to the final accounts.
right,
So that particular sequence, if someone follows,
right.
he can even be a quasi, I would again say, masters in accounts.
Right. So as I was not I did not even have the basics of that, so I had to start here so that it can become an intuitive thing for me. I don't
Yeah,
particularly like rote learning, so I
yeah.
want to internalize the concepts, and that can be applied in whatever chapter that you are reading.
True. Very well said that you have made a pure systematic, organized, and a formal approach towards accounts. You have started
Right.
from the scratch, and now today you are at a good level. Now let's come to the last component again, economics. Again,
Mhm.
it was full of surprises, ISLM curve, and different concepts which are totally alien to even the people who are from commerce background.
Right.
How did you approach your paper two, economics of paper two?
So as I said that I had left it for phase two only.
Yeah.
So I dedicated around 30 to 40% of my entire preparation for economics only during the phase two part.
Okay.
As I had cleared most of my subjects during the phase one,
Hmm.
I had to give a lot of time to economics because in phase two the competition is very cut to cut.
Yeah.
So you can't leave an entire chapter like I left it in phase one.
Hmm.
So here I had dedicated a lot of time to economics and studied all the concepts and practice the questions from different sources.
So again, I would like to ask two more questions on this particular concept, which is known as time management.
Yeah.
There are two phases of time management. The first is before paper, that you have to leave certain subjects like you did for economics,
Yeah.
and first second is during the paper.
Right.
Like from many toppers, I've come to know that they are leaving some questions of commerce and accounts. If it is unsolved, they are not able to solve it under 1 minute, then they are moving ahead.
Yeah.
So first, I would like to know your comments over time management before the preparation. Like, can you please also elaborate that you have already told me that you left economics? Then what part you've majorly focused on?
So I used to skim the questions in the paper. I used to skim the questions whether I know this by heart or not. If I know
Hmm.
this by heart, I will attempt it right now. Otherwise, I will attempt it in the second revision. So I
Okay.
used to solve the entire paper within 15 minutes, in the initial 15 minutes. Then I would come back to again those questions, around 20 questions that I had left. I would solve the
Okay.
30 questions in around first 15 to 20 minutes. Then I would focus on those 20 questions that I had left.
And was this your practice developed after giving so many mocks, or it was again intuitive in nature?
No, means I used to, from all the exams that I've given in my life, I have always done this only, that I would solve all the questions that are well known to me. and then I will do the second revision and solve the questions. That kind of needs some application or some time to solve them.
Okay, wonderful. Now, here one more question which is coming to my mind is the time management when it comes to your job allocation. You are
Right.
working in some startup company.
Right.
So how did you manage your preparation time? Because seeing that you are a consistent performer, because starting from 2021, you must have the persistency in yourself. So
Right.
did you study it regularly, or it was it like only on weekends, and what was your overall plan?
Fortunately, my job was very lenient in nature, so I could divide the time based on my availability. Means I would give this much
Okay.
time at that particular day or that particular hour.
Okay, okay,
So I could give priority to my education as compared to the job.
okay.
That kind
So
of help.
So it was majorly you are studying on everyday basis. I would say
Yeah.
consistency was on very high
Yeah.
level. So that's again a very good point to note about your personality. Now let's come to the last stage. What was interview? Okay, so I will just ask two questions on interview. The first is very basic. When you came to know that you are going to face your interview,
Right.
know you have variety of your experience, but again, it gives shivers to someone going to SEBI and sitting in the front of esteemed panel,
Right.
right? So how was your overall run up? How was your overall preparation, and how did you tackle your nerves before the D-Day? We will come on the D-Day later, but how was the overall preparation before the D-Day?
So I gave RBI interview last year,
Yeah.
and I had taken a lot of stress for that particular thing. So I had decided to wing it. I
Okay.
will be my natural self and give the interview,
So
and
was
that's why
this
I was,
interview in 2021?
yeah.
Okay. Chalo. Please continue.
So I decided to be my natural self, and that's why I was not very stressed.
Okay.
So whatever questions they asked, I just gave my natural answers only.
So how was your preparation level like? How did you prepare any HR questions, current affairs, because you are reading newspaper already? So
Right.
how was your preparation?
So
Bring
I
me up
did
on that.
prepare some HR questions, but I felt that the answers that I gave was not based on my preparation, because I am kind of an honest guy, and whatever I
Hmm.
try to make up an answer to better suit that particular organization, it doesn't come out naturally out of your mouth when you are in the actual interview scenario. And
Hmm.
if you do give that kind of practiced answer, I think the panel would be able to judge you that you're not giving a genuine answer kind of thing.
So you want to be free on that particular day,
Right.
right? You just wanted to share your free, I would say, thoughts, your processes, and you
Right.
just wanted to show your best personality to the panel members.
Right. Means for technical part, I did revise all the things, but
Mhm.
for HR part, again, I did practice, but the thing is that it didn't come of
Hmm.
much of use.
Okay, okay, okay. So it might happen that it have worked on the backstage,
Right.
but on the front stage, it was completely you and over
Yeah.
into you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is really very good to see. Now let's come to the D-Day. First,
Right.
let me take through the how many panel members were there.
4 panel members were there. We
Okay,
were live, and one ma'am was there on
okay,
virtually. Means
okay. So how did can you recall some questions and what was your overall experience?
so I think for most of the candidates this time around, it was the start was why SEBI.
Okay,
and
yeah.
and since I am from engineering background, they asked me whether you have done something, some certifications in finance or something like that. So I had done this MCFN certifications in
Okay, okay, okay,
few modules, and I have also done that diploma in international banking and finance from IIBF.
okay, okay.
So
So were they grilling you on this particular topic, on certain diplomas or specialization?
means they were grilling you on everything. So this
Okay.
was also part of that. But yeah, it's not something
Were
like
they
they.
going too deep into this particular domain?
Yeah, they did go deep, and they asked some questions which were not even in the syllabus of that particular module. But yeah, they were like, no, this must be covered in that.
So were you able to answer these questions? Because I think diploma was done much earlier before the
Yeah,
interview day.
yeah.
So
But
were you able
the
to
thing
answer
is,
them?
if it was covered in that, I would have answered. It was not genuinely covered in that particular module.
Okay, okay.
And sir was just confident, so I had to just humbly decline that, sir, I don't know then if it was covered, then I may not be
So
remembering
in the
correctly.
interview, did you said many times no? And was it the situation where I have heard that many people you say no, no, and then the one answer they just give yes, and it was like a bang on for them. Was it like with you also?
No, it's kind of like the chairman was disagreeing to all the answers that you give.
Okay. So
So you can't just keep saying no.
okay. So he was creating some moral pressure on you and testing you,
Right.
right? And
So
you,
whatever answer you gave, that no, this doesn't have any connection to
yeah.
this.
So now I'm able to know that why your preparation before the interview was not helping you,
Right,
because this time they were like totally bang on. We have to ask Abhishek many questions.
right. Means till the day of the interview, all the feedback that we got from the other students was that 90% of the interview was HR,
Yeah.
and for me it was 90% technical.
Yeah. It was completely vice versa for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So they ask according to the profile which has been made by the student
maybe
itself.
means I also feel like the answers that you give, if it contains some technical information,
Hmm.
then they will ask you follow-up questions. If you answer in generic terms, then they
Yeah.
will focus on HR questions.
Yeah. So one size doesn't fit all is
Yeah,
true over here as well. So now let's move to, we have covered different components starting from phase one, phase two, and interview.
yeah,
Now there are certain journal questions which I would like to take your part on. First is like SEBI syllabus is really very huge as compared to
right,
the different components.
right.
So how did you advise a beginner from a journal stream, or let's say from a non-engineering background, for you who is not having an experience first of all?
Mhm.
So how will you advise it? How will you say that yes, this is an approach you should go towards it?
Right, so start from the basics instead of jumping, like instead of having a goal of completing your syllabus in this much time or whatever. Start from the basics, cover the basics, then you can get the understanding, and then you can apply the understanding during your actual preparation. It's not like you should start 1 month or 2 months when the notification comes.
Yeah.
So in 2021, actually, the notification came 1 year before the examination.
Yeah, it was due to COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of gave me time. I started my preparation in October of 2020, and the main examination happened in around Feb and March.
2021 was totally a different year, because in that
Right.
particular year, SEBI was asking how Make in India logo or some very weird questions. But
Yeah,
in this particular
this was
year, they
more of
have,
an standard year. Yeah,
this was like totally coming to this direct to the point, specialization, having some
right.
journal good questions.
Right.
So this 2021 was totally a complete year, I would say. Now let's come to the another very important question, which is the most scoring section when it comes to this particular year, because every year this particular answer will change, I know. But this year, what was the scoring section in the paper two of phase two?
For me, it was company law and costing. Since if you,
Costing.
yeah, if
Okay.
you know the numerical, you know the answer. You can't go wrong there.
And you just discussed some technique also where you said some arithmetic point of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you please discuss that particular thing, because we are in the end moments of the interview? I just want to take some insights.
So basically, that is kind of a hack, and it may not work always. But the thing
Yeah.
is that if you are not able to attempt a lot of questions,
Hmm.
then either way you are not going to be selected.
Yeah.
So it's better to attempt more questions.
Hmm.
Means not a lot of questions, not wild guesses, but yeah, if you have kind of inkling that yeah, this is obviously cannot be a division. This has to be a multiplication, or this has to be a addition.
Hmm.
That kind of intuition you develop after like if you go from the basics.
True. And Abhishek, I just want some more comments towards the technical subjects. Like you have already told that you have devoted some time to journal and then you came to the best form. Like
Right.
for some non-engineering guy, or I would say someone who is from engineering background only, let's take
Mhm.
someone who is just starting its preparation. So do you will advise him the same thing, that you have to go back again to the basic and then come ahead?
Right. Means that is core principle. Means if you, I don't know, means if someone is good at rote learning,
Hmm.
obviously he can jump to whatever chapter he wants and just memorize all the things. But the
Hmm.
question pattern that is there currently, it is more on the application side. So maybe it will not help as much, but it depends
True.
on from person to person.
Okay, true. So there is like no shortcut for that particular thing. You have to go back and study and then you have to come ahead.
Right.
Because if luck favors, then yes, definitely you can sail through. But when you are coming to the hard work, then you have to do it, right?
Right.
So now I will be asking some very quick questions. You have to just let me know whether it is what's your take on it. The
Sure.
first and the foremost is, who is your favorite teacher in EduTap?
I would say Anchit sir.
Anchis are all seasons, right?
Right. Means a
So
lot
what?
of motivation. He gives a lot of motivation whenever
Yeah.
you are feeling down or something like that. He gives
Actually,
a lot of
many
motivation
people
also.
let's know that Anchis sir is like very famous for finance and component because he himself is an MBA finance. So he is an engineering background also. So he understands the pains of all the
Right.
engineering students. So it's like he is giving his soul out of that particular thing. So now let me ask you, which was the most challenging subject for you in paper two, or phase one or
Economics.
phase two? Economics.
Yeah.
That was quite a different answer which I was expecting, because many UPSC students are comfortable in economics, but
Yes, the syllabus is completely different from UPSC,
mm,
and all those technicalities. And the point is that there is a lot of contradiction in economics.
yeah.
So whatever the classical theorists have said, the new economics theories are completely opposite or different.
Mm,
So
yeah,
you kind
true.
of get boggled up what someone is saying,
And
and yeah,
yeah, and there are different assumptions also which goes into
right,
the theory.
exactly.
Yeah, and some theory says that we have assumed this, and some theory says that no, we have assumed certain other things.
Right, and the questions
Right.
can be framed upon that also.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
true,
have to
true.
memorize the assumptions also, not just the theories.
Yeah, yeah, true. And one more question regarding the feedback for EduTap. What one thing you like the most regarding the EduTap as a team as a whole?
Consistency.
Thank you. And in which regard consistency? Like, were it totally on their study side, motivation side,
All
or
of
what?
them means even the YouTube revision series is also
Yeah,
very great. Means I binge watched all of them in the last few days before
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
examination.
So that's really very good to see that how people are using the word binge watch, because this is generally used for all the Netflix and Amazon series.
Right.
So now let's come to the last question, or I would say second last question. What is your future expectations when you are joining SEBI? Like, how will you work? Just a beautiful experience of what you are looking ahead.
Means I wouldn't know. Means depends on what I means what is thrown in front of me.
Okay, so let me see some questions which are coming in my chat box. Let me take some questions.
Sure.
Okay. So what was your attempt in the mains in the technical paper? I think he means technical by the
Paper
paper two
two.
only. Yeah.
I
So did you
attempted 49
remember
questions.
49 out of 50, right?
Right.
Okay. And what was the overall accuracy level like, if you can predict?
Means from whatever answers that the EduTap Anchit sir had given,
Yeah.
I was sure that I had made 3 wrong attempts.
Okay,
Other
okay,
than
okay.
that, around 6, 7 questions were doubtful, as 4 questions were not clear to Anchit sir only.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Actually, that particular paper was made by our whole team, and I was leading that particular team. So it was really very confusing to remember some questions that we were not
right.
able to make the exact language.
Questions were also lengthy, so it kind
Huh.
of makes it difficult to predict the memory-based
Yeah.
answers.
And we were not expecting that many numericals as well.
Right,
And to have a memory based question which is based on numerical was like living a bad dream.
right.
So that was difficult in making those questions. So now I think there is no additional question in the chat box. Now I think this will be our end of our interview. But before ending this particular interview, I just want your some future comments for those particular people who will be appearing for this particular year. And what will be a piece of advice for the future aspirants who are preparing? A complete comprehensive advice.
So the main comprehensive advice is that no size fits all. So
Yeah.
based on your particular strengths and weaknesses, you have to prepare. But I think the best approach would be to start from the basics, give
Yeah.
the due time that is required to some new subjects. Means for the non-commerce background students, costing, commerce, and accounts need some time to internalize.
Yeah.
So internalize them well, then only like start preparing for the examination.
True, true, true. So, in our whole conversation via which I can decode certain or summarize certain points, the first thing is your making revision notes was really very good to see, because you have really filtered out your own notes.
Right,
So that is really very good to see. The second is that you have uh, mentioned about different courses of EduTap, and you have utilized that particular course to your best advantage.
right,
For example, the 5000 MCQ course, again, you have mentioned in multiple times that how it was helping you when it comes to the revising concepts. You also
right,
applied reverse engineering and all. I hope you agree on that particular
right.
point. And the third and the last thing is regarding your binge watch thing. I will definitely share that particular feedback with my team, and we will plan as much lectures in the future.
Right.
So this was all from my side, and again from the entire team of EduTap, we wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you.
And again, very much congratulations for all your future endeavors.
Thank you.